Ooh, what's going on, people? Now, here's the thing. Recently, well, probably a week ago, I made a video regarding Brian. And that video itself in particular was Brian having an interview on a podcast talking about his past. Well, in that podcast, he says a lot of things. Now, one of those things he mentions is one woman that he met when he was at a dealership, and that woman decided to reach out to me and have her say, because she says that the things that he was saying aren't exactly accurate, and she's here to spill the complete real tree, the real tea from herself, shall I say. I don't know why I said tree to begin with, but anyway, with that being said, let's get into it. Now, if you haven't seen that video, I recommend you watch it. So therefore, this video makes so much more sense. Now, with that being said, she does begin by talking and saying that his family is also horrible. Quite interesting. And that they made her life and his life while she was with him together very difficult. Okay. Now, of course, in fine form, she wants to stay anonymous, which is completely respectful. But here's the thing. She also mentions that she has added some photos down below, which I will be showing you guys later on in the video itself in particular. Now, in those photos, she talks about how there's a photo of his daughter Brianna with his niece, and also a picture of them two, at their wedding, but her face is blurred for clearly obvious reasons. Now, she does also say that she's actually the third wife, as I said before, and that the way he says things happen in the shooting, well, no. She's saying it's not correct. Now, I will say this, she does have a few typos here and there, so if I kind of mess up my reading every now and then, just know why. It's the typos, okay? Allow me, okay? Despite I am a terrible reader. But nonetheless, though, let's continue, because she does say that I was the woman he was dating when he was at the dealership, something that I mentioned earlier on that we spoke about in a previous video. I recommend you check it out. Now, she continued by saying, during our courtship, I had no idea he was a drug dealer or that he was using drugs at the time. I did know he was married, but he told me that he was separated. I should have known better, since I was wife number 3 and he was only 26 and I was only 24. Let's emphasize on that 26. Imagine that, being 26 years of age and you've already got your third wife. And we know Brian has already said that he's had multiple marriages, multiple engagements, multiple divorces, multiple breakups. That is absolutely criminal. But nonetheless, though, we continue. She goes, oh, it wasn't a hit like he makes it sound. He lied, okay? He lied on TV and in the podcast, the one I spoke about that you should check out. This was not a hit, yes, but... This was not a hit, yes, but... No, sorry, this was not a hit, yes. She did send 2 gang bangers to beat him, to take his minivan, watch, and wallet. Let me go back a second so I can make sense of that one. She's saying that this was not necessarily a hit, but yes, she did send 2 bangers to beat him up. So she's saying that Brian was never meant to get shot in the first place. He was only meant to get beaten up, roughed up, and also he was meant to have things taken away from him. We continue by saying also the gun didn't come out until he started fighting one of them. Again, in the podcast, he says it very, very differently. He says in the podcast that when he was in the van, the person pulled up to him with the gun already in his hand. And then Brian decided to fight fist versus gun. Yeah, but either way, watch that video and you get the picture. With that being said, though, she obviously says that the gun didn't come out until he was fighting one of them. So that means one of them decided to take the gun out, or out of the fact that maybe Brian was obviously defending himself in a very good way. So I guess the guy obviously panicked and thought, I got to shoot him, which clearly is a very crazy thing. But nonetheless, though, then she continues by saying, the way wife number 2 knew he was on his way home is because his stepdaughter said she was going to sign papers to buy the car she looked at. So he waited for her to come by, but she never did. I knew this is true since I answered the phone and transferred the call to him. She did go to jail, but only for 7 years, and the guys that did this to him were caught, but his testimony was not valid since he was high on drugs and cocaine. Damn, that is crazy. This is why people should not take drugs. But nonetheless though, this I found out later while I was in the hospital with him, and the doctor said they had found marijuana and cocaine in his system. They did eventually catch one of the guys, but in order to get a deal and less of a sentence, that's when he said that Brian's ex-wife had hired them to beat him up, take his Gucci watch, wallet, and the minivan. The minivan was taken because she thought by doing this he would get fired from the dealership. The minivan was only a little gas, so it was found a few blocks away from where he got shot. And he did say that the minivan got found literally from a few blocks from where he got shot. Okay, but again, she's saying that it was never a hit to actually take his life or to even shoot him. It was more basically just to be a mugging and also to, you know, put him in a position where he would lose his job. That's what she's saying was the actual, you know, perspective or the angle. But I guess Brian, being Brian, decided to fight the guy, and then those guys end up being stupid because they obviously brought a weapon with them, which obviously was ludicrous anyway. But nonetheless though, but I will say this though, it seems to me that Brian obviously wasn't wrong for defending himself, clearly. But the way he tells the story, he tells it a bit differently. He says it as if like, oh, he knew they had a gun, but he decided to fight them anyway. Which for me personally, I don't know why you would say it that way, because that sounds mad. But then again, at the same time, he obviously knew they had a gun. No, he didn't. You know what? My apology. Let me just keep reading the freaking damn thing. I do apologize, okay? I'm confusing myself in the process here. Either way though, she continued by saying, it's unfortunate that this happened, but I'm annoyed that he made it seem like he did everything with just his family and then talked badly about how American women aren't accepting, especially when this American woman herself dropped out of school and quit my job to take him to his therapies and take care of him. I wasn't going to do that, but then his mom asked him, and at the time I figured that this is what you do for someone you love. That doesn't make sense. Mind you, we had only been dating since October 98, and he was shot January 99. He would always throw in my face how it was my fault he got shot because I helped him cheat. That is crazy. And you know what the maddest thing is? That sounds like something Brian would say, because we know accountability is not his friend. But hey, we continue with the rest. Let's go into it. Anyway, we did end up getting married, but had been together for about 7 years. He never worked during this time or went to school. Most of his rugby friends did, but he only wanted to focus on rugby. So of course I helped fund his travels in the US, Argentina, and I went with him, and Brazil in September 2005. Oh, Brazil, this is where he ended up meeting the person that he cheated on me with, but I didn't know that until December 2005. I ain't gonna lie to you, lady. I generally think that he may have cheated you before them. That's just the first time you found out about somebody, but you never know. But anyway, we continue though. I had asked for a divorce in October because his mom threw a surprise party for him, of which I was not invited to. That is absolutely berserk. This is what I meant. This is what I mean by his family being as he is. He then, of course, cried and cried, saying he couldn't live without me, blah, blah, blah. But that was just to give him time to see if things would work out with the woman from Brazil. Brian to try and manipulate things in his favor? No, I would have never guessed that. Such a Brian thing to do. Nonetheless though, which clearly it did, because our divorce was final in March of 2006. She obviously did a typo there. Now I heard he goes around suing establishments that are not ADA complement. This means he has never really worked. He has been doing Uber for the last 7 years. So aside from that, how has he been making money since we got a divorce when he was only 34 years old? He is now working He's working now since he needs to sponsor his multiple finances, his multiple fiancés. I knew one of them left him because she had her residency fixed, laugh aloud, unless he has been suing Ilesanmi since then. But this man has been bringing women to the States and getting them freaking visas and whatnot, and now he's obviously responsible for all of them. It's an absolute calamity, but hey, we continue. Then she continues by saying, plus I heard that he is now with someone else. I have attached a photo of her below. That photo of that person I will not necessarily show because obviously it's not fair, I don't believe. Okay, so that one I won't show at all. Because that one is not blurred. Okay. So with that being said, okay, I wrote a lot. Unless she comes out herself or someone else exposes her face, then it's cool. I just don't want to be the first one to do it. You know what I'm saying? With that being said, the plus, no, okay, I wrote a lot, sorry, but 7 years and so many things have gone on with him. I think at the end of our marriage, he did revert back to selling drugs, which is sad. So Ingrid isn't wrong when she made the comment of still selling drugs. If he was still walking, I believe he would have been still. I believe he would have still been selling drugs, and he would have cheated on me way sooner than he did. Listen, he would have still been on the drugs. If anything, that's if he's not on them now. If you dig what I'm saying, but hey. I don't regret taking care of him emotionally, financially, since I do believe people come in and out of your life for a reason. For me, it taught me to have patience, and then etc. 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 Now, this is the image that was shown by TLC, okay? And this is the image that she's talking about, obviously, that was shown by TLC, obviously, of her and him. Okay, but also on top of that, this is also image she spoke about when it came to his daughter and his niece. But then this is her own personal image that she shared. Okay, of obviously her and Brian together back, obviously when they were married, back when he was 20. I don't know. They didn't get married, whatever age they got married, but obviously they met when he was 26 and she was 24, okay? The next picture after that is the one of the new person that she believes he's married to, which I won't show because, you know, I don't want to expose someone that's XYZ. But nonetheless, though, you guys let me know your thoughts on this stuff in particular, and we can most certainly talk about it. Tell me what you think. Do you believe the story that we're hearing here? Or do you think that there are certain things in this story that just doesn't add up to your expectations? Let me know your thoughts on the matter itself in particular, and we will most certainly talk about it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course, peace.